was 16 when I was first diagnosed with FSHD. I really can't remember any of that. All I know is that it came as a huge shock, and I ended up sort of, I still did daily activities and everything, but I shut myself away from the public basically. So I was working, so I went to work, I did my job, and I came home. I worked in pharmacy, so I tried my best to sort of stay behind the counter and not walk around, outside the counter and that. I had a limp, and I was very self-conscious of that limp. Once I knew that I had this disease, it was sort of like, it just changed my life. It really did. And like I said, I was very self-conscious with it, and I hated the way I looked and the way I felt. So it probably took me 20 odd years to actually step out of my comfort zone slightly, not a lot. And I moved to Tasmania, and I spent 2 years down there. And when I moved down there, I was using a wheelchair and that. And so I kind of went down there as a nobody. No one knew me. So I started using the wheelchair more often, and I got confident being out in public in this chair because no one knew me pre the wheelchair. Muscular Dystrophy Queensland had called me, and they were just keeping an eye on me because they knew that I'd transitioned into the power chair full time, and they were just concerned with how I was feeling and how I was getting along, and it was so funny. They asked me if I wanted to do something as an activity outside the house, and of course, me being me, I'm not normal. I'm just not normal at all. And I said, yeah, I would love to go shooting, or I'd love to get back to the drag racing stuff, and they were shocked. They were just shocked. That was not what they wanted to hear. The guy on the end of the phone, he kind of like, what? I don't think we're going to let you shoot, and I don't think we're going to put you in a race car either, right? So can we just go horse riding or something? And I said, yeah, okay, we can do horse riding. And it was only a couple of months later, they actually got, through the Sporting Wheelies Association, a come and try day notice for anyone that wanted to go out to the Belmont Range and come and try with the Paralympic team out there shooting. So they knew, me wanting to have a little shoot. So they flicked me the email, and of course I said, yes, I'll go, and I did. And that day changed my life completely. You have no idea how amazing my life has been since that particular day. I went out there in the hopes of actually using a pistol, because that's all I've ever wanted to do, was shoot a pistol. However, I couldn't hold the pistol at all, so I was quite disappointed, and I thought, well, that's it, it's not going to happen. And they said to me, go and try the rifles. And I said, if I can't hold the pistol, there's no way I'm going to be able to hold a rifle. And they said, but with the rifle, you can put it on a stand and rest it on a stand. I tried the rifle. I had the Paralympic coach actually standing behind me while I was shooting, unbeknownst to me. I only got to shoot 8 shots, and they were all grouped beautifully in this little grouping. It wasn't a bullseye because the gun wasn't actually suited for, it wasn't set up for us, individuals. It was just set up so that you could shoot. So yeah, so my grouping was very, very good. And they asked me if I would like to come back as and shoot as a professional athlete sort of thing. And I went, sure, I'll give it a go. Why not? And I didn't realize then that they meant come back and shoot because you may make an Australian team. And it was only probably 18 months later, I was actually asked to become an Australian shooter. So I got to get on the team. I am not a Paralympian. Okay, I made the Australian team. I didn't make the Olympics. And I did try for the Olympics in 2016, but I didn't make it. And that's okay, because the journey to the 2016 Paralympics is what changed my life. I had so many firsts. It allowed me to step way out of my comfort zone. It allowed me to hang out with other people in wheelchairs, whereas I hadn't done that in my previous life. I call it my previous life because it was like I lived to exist back then, whereas now I live to live. And I love it. I seriously love my life. You know, who would have thought that I was going to pick up a rifle and travel the world as an Australian shooter? Not me. I can tell you, it wasn't me. And I've met so many cool people, and I've done so many interesting things since that. You know, I really have stepped out of my comfort zone. This year I've taken my first helicopter ride. That was so cool. What else have I done? I've gotten the opportunity to volunteer at the Commonwealth Games over at the shooting range where I hang out. So yeah, that was really cool. Spent 9 days over there volunteering and meeting amazing shooters. The experience was great for me and my carer. I got to meet people well, able-bodied people, I call them, and yeah, see how they shoot and watch them practice and stuff like that. And I love my life, and I really do love being, I can't say I love being in a wheelchair, but it has allowed me to do things that I would never have done if I hadn't have had this disability.